Hello and welcome to Success Talks at Preplaced. We are all about sharing the awesome success stories of our mentees who successfully nailed their dream jobs with a little help from their rockstar mentors. Today, we have an incredible tale for you. A journey from system engineer to lead data scientist. Let's hear it straight from the superstar himself.
This is Ranveer Devgupta. I have been with the industry specific to data for more than 7.5 years, I would say. So I was career placed at TCS, and during my final year itself, I was very much interested in data, and I was very much curious about how by looking at the past data, we can actually unearth certain trends. And also, if we do some advanced analytics, we can actually go forward and predict certain features. So after my career placement, I was working at TCS. That was a data domain I was working. Then I moved to Capgemini, where I was working specifically as a data scientist. I was working for some of the clients starting from automobile companies. At Amazon, I was working as a business intelligence engineer while I was working specifically at Amazon payment products. One needs to update oneself with that. So keeping that in mind, I decided that this is something that I should delve myself into completely. And at that point, I decided, okay, the job role that I want to move into completely is in the data science domain completely. After working for many years into a little bit of data engineering part, into data analytics part, little bit of a data scientist part, I had to now decide that, okay, something I need to focus on for my career, like after experimenting for around 5 years. So yeah, at that point of time, I decided and I started my preparation, and here I am at Nielsen working as a lead data scientist. I was lucky that I had very good mentors and peers per se. So I reached out to some of my peers, and that had a very profound impact on me, like understanding certain strategies of how to approach this entire process, like expanding my breadth and depth of the ML knowledge and everything. So those things really helped. But at a certain point of time, I felt like, okay, now I should make it more focused journey, and I should actually look into certain aspects of it. One thing which I actually wanted to look at is to sharpen my DSA skills further, because the interview aspect of DSA and what you use on a day-to-day basis is quite different. So I wanted to sharpen my skills over there. And that's where I thought like, okay, I should get mentorship from someone in the industry who is equipped with taking interviews, and more than that, I should familiarize myself of a coding interview, because generally while you are working on a problem, there is a problem, you have to think of how to solve it. You have an ample time, like, okay, you think, you discuss with your teammates, but in an interview framework, you're given a problem, hardly you have 40 minutes to answer that question. So you have to think through a lot of things. You need to have that memory muscle created, like, and structure that problem. Okay, that how to look into it. So that's where I thought like, okay, I should have a proper mentorship of how to approach the problem. And more than that, how to approach a problem, how to, in a limited period of time, how should I strategize my entire preparation journey for data structures, algorithms, and design. I'm pretty much active over LinkedIn. So generally, I would say the only social media which I'm addicted to is LinkedIn right now, hopefully, thankfully. So thankfully, I'm so far only addicted to LinkedIn. So I go through LinkedIn, everything. And that's where I saw Preplaced, and I thought like, okay, that's fine. And let me give it a try. And when I went to Preplaced, and I've gone through other platforms as well, but when I went to Preplaced, I found that things were very much structured, because I could see a lot of mentors and what is their experience, what is the skill that they bring in, how many mentees they have, and their testimonials. So I went through the profile of a lot of mentors, and actually I initially signed up with certain mentors as well. And one good thing about Preplaced is it gives a trial with a mentor. That is very, very important, and that is a really good feature of Preplaced, I must say, because how do you know that this mentor would be working for you? So you get a trial, and I actually took a trial with a few mentors before ending up taking up the subscription with Rachit. Is that I discussed, and sometimes what you are expecting and what the mentor is expecting, sometimes they do not match. Thankfully with Rachit, I found that, okay, this is the perfect thing. Few things worked out for me is that I found out that from the very beginning, Rachit was very structured, like in the first trial itself. And that's a good thing about the mentor. Like, even though it is a trial, he took it very seriously, and he told me about the structural approach that he wants to have. He gave me a very good tips for the strategy of preparation. I'll go into the details later on, but those strategies were very effective. And some of the things, like, you might have think it through, but sometimes what happens is that these are at the back of your mind. कभी कभी नहीं लगता है कि हाँ ऐसे भी मैं prepare करूं. तो those things I really liked about Rachit. Like, he broke down the entire preparation strategy. Okay, we should do DSA, a part of this. We should do the ML system design for a part of it. We'll even talk about the roles that are there, because nowadays, even in ML, there are a lot of roles. There is applied scientist role, there is research scientist, there is data scientist, there is ML engineer. So discussing about the roles and their expectations as well. So these things really helped me, I would say, to shortlist my mentor. And I immediately knew, okay, this is fine. I should go ahead with Rachit, because I love that structured approach, to be very concise. I was actually practicing lead code, and every effort going into lead code, practicing certain number of problems. While interacting with Rachit, I found that there are certain strategies to do it. So one of the things which I changed after discussing with Rachit is that initially what I used to do is that I used to pick up a problem from a certain segment. Let's say it's hashing. Let's say it's arrays. So I know it's an array, and I'm picking up. It's a DP, dynamic programming problem. And I'm picking, like, today I'll solve, or for next 3 days I'll be solving dynamic problem, and took a problem specific from graph. After discussing with Rachit is that what he mentioned is that during an interview, one of the main things that one has to figure out is that what algo, or what is the problem that one is trying to solve. Now, while practicing, I'm already aware that I'm solving a DP problem. Like, the problem will be solved through a DP, or the problem will be solved through a hashing. Now, that itself, at the back of my mind, is solving half of the effort. While in the actual interview process, you will not know the problem. They will just give you the problem statement. So after that, what we did is that what I started doing is that I started picking up random problems and started solving, like, without knowing from which segment this is coming. And looking at the problem, I had to figure out certain things. So I'm just mentioning one of the strategies. So this actually helped me a lot. And this actually made me a lot confident. And I actually started feeling like, okay, yeah, this is where I was actually lacking, because given a problem, I had to actually think through, like, if I have to make it more effective, should I use hashing? Should I use heap? What should I use? So that started building my muscle memory, I would say. So that is one of the strategy, I would say. Along with that, what actually helped me is I was practicing the problem in a dedicated way, in a stipulated amount of time. Like, I dedicated, like, okay, I'll have 30 minutes to solve this problem. Initially, a bit more time. Okay, 40 minutes to solve this problem. Now, generally during this interview process, what happens that is one has to think out loud. So you have to discuss this with the interviewer. What's the approach that you are taking? So a lot of effort also goes into conversing your thought process. These things one generally misses if one does not give a lot of mock interviews. So you are thinking and you are typing this problem, and a lot of things are going on in your head, and those thought process can be really messy. A mentor can really help over there. Like, while discussing with the mentor, like, I was able to figure out, okay, I'm thinking through a lot of things, but the thought process is actually messy. I'm going back and forth in a lot of things. And after a few calls, I actually started like whatever mess that had, going back and forth, that started to sort out. So that's why I emphasize a lot of time on having a mentor. Yeah. One thing I would say is that go for this trial thing. Definitely. That has helped me a lot because you need to know, whether this mentorship that you are dedicating yourself into, whether this is going to work or not. And that you would get to know during a trial, whether this is working or not. Because you need to match your expectation with the mentor's expectation as well. And that's very crucial, I would say. And the next thing that I would say is that once you opt for a mentorship, or even before opting a mentorship, what I would say is that have a structure in your mind. What is the end goal that you want to achieve out of it? Like, I had a clear objective that if I'm going for a mentorship, I want to enhance my coding round skills from this mentorship. I want to have a lot of mock interviews. I need to know what are the strategies that needs to be in place for preparing, because a lead code will have 150 problems. You cannot blindly practice 150 problems, 200 problems and memorize them. That's not the way how it works. And eventually, if it works for many, that's going to fail. So one needs to understand how to prepare oneself. And sometimes the time span can also vary. Like, if you have a few weeks of time or a month of time, how to optimize your time to best suit yourself. So have a end structure, I would say, of the end goal that you want to achieve from this mentorship. And then when you take the mentorship, I would say that because each day at the onset of the mentorship, you can discuss with your mentor what are the things that you are expecting. Some of the things the mentor might feel like, okay, these are the things that might not work, and you should work in a different way. And at the end of each of these sessions, you try to find out okay, what are the things, you try to write it, or you try to think it through, what are the things that I have learned from today's time. So yeah, having a structured approach and looking back retrospectively, what are things that you have learned, and are you getting incrementally better with each session? That's very crucial, I would say. One should always measure oneself compared to what they were in the past. So yeah, that's why.